So I'm going to do a very brief run through about how the data is collected from the Pi and transferred into a 3D point cloud. So I'm using CyberDuck as my file transferring software. So I have all the data from here, and then I just moved it over onto my computer so that I can now use PyCharm. So here I have the PyCharm code, and then goes through all of the images and then creates X, Y, and Z points from them. And then we go into Matlab. We can then now actually plot it into a much neater plot that's much easier for people to look at. So now there's 18,000 points, so it took some time to run the code. And now if we take a look at the plot of this, it's a little interesting. So we see here that, as I predicted earlier, here's the mug and here are the headphones. The mug was more, I would be able to receive the information more, it was more reflective, whereas because it was a white color, and then you have the headphones which were more black, so then it was a little more difficult to receive the information. So they're seeing more of as like blank, as just a gap. But you see these two dots here which are indicative of the headphones, where there might be the gaps in the product. And then another thing, though, you know that the speakers are there because you have these two large shadows. So that's clear that it still picked it up, but unfortunately it was just seen as a kind of a larger gap. So that's something I want to keep in mind in the future. And then so here we have the shelf, the bookcase. And what's interesting is you have this line where there was nothing here. And so an explanation for that is because here, in these points, you have where the first shelf was, and then there's this gap where you can like put your fingers through to pick up the next shelf, the next place, and it probably was able to get the points. Also, there's all this scatter over here. As I also indicated earlier, that was a very shiny surface. That was the knob of the speaker, so then I was able to give some very interesting feedback. So that's something I want to keep in mind for when I start taking the data of the bench, of the animal science benches. And that's it. Thank you.